Welcome to the W2W Review. I'm the Oakland Knight, and with me as always is my partner in crime, Raider Pirate. What's going on, Pirate?
What's going on, Raider Nation?
All right, Raider Nation. Today we're going to get into an article that was released by CSN Bay Area and Scott Bair that's going to talk about the quarterback situation. It's a real meaty topic, so it should turn out to be a great show today, and we thank you for tuning in. So, Pirate, on that note, what do we got today?
Well, CSN Bay Area released an article this morning from Scott Bair, basically about the quarterback position. It looks like he's going to be breaking down the depth chart from all the positions, but he's starting out at the quarterback position. So, and we just want to make sure that everybody out there knows, this is an article by Scott Bair. This is not our article. We're simply reviewing the article. We're looking at what somebody's posting out, reviewing it, and giving our opinion on it. So if you guys do have any comments, we would encourage you to go to the actual article, which we will post in the comments. If you have comments about us in general or something that we're saying, go ahead and post it in the comments below, just to avoid confusion there. So basically what Scott Bair says is that, he's looking at the Raiders. Derek Carr right now he's entrenched as the starter, but that the backup position has Matt McGlion and Connor Cook. So what we're going to look at today is the three questions that basically he poses. One is, can Carr take the next logical step and be a franchise quarterback? If he's not already. Number two, who's going to win that backup job? And that has a lot to do with, are we going to carry three quarterbacks or are we going to carry two? And then how will Connor Cook respond to falling in the NFL draft, taking that plummet basically to the fourth round? So he starts the article out by saying that Derek Carr is entrenched. He obviously deserves it. 3,987 yards, 32 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and a 91.1 passer rating. If this is, anybody other than Derek Carr, these are fantastic numbers in terms of Raider quarterbacks, right? Almost 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns. And he points out that yes, Carr threw some interceptions late in games that cost the team, and I think that that's sometimes what fans and analysts will look at, is the fact that he did make those turnovers late in games that may have led to some of the losses that we had. But again, you could make the case that, hey, he didn't really have a strong supporting cast in his first year. Last year, he progressively got better with better wide receivers. And this year, he should get even better so that he's not trying to push it so much. So again, his question, he starts out by saying, can Carr take that next step? Can he be that franchise quarterback? He's got the arm, he's got the work ethic, but can he become that it type of player? So what are your thoughts on that, partner? Do you think that Carr can take that next step and get himself into that Breeze, Brady, Rodgers type of position?
Yeah, let's take a look at this real quick, because I think a lot of people get really caught up in statistics. I've done a lot of talking about certain topics like this, where statistics get looked at way too much. Sometimes we have to look at just the body of work. Yes, statistics are a part of it. We can't deny the statistic part of a player's career. But when you look at Carr's statistics, man, I'm having a good time with this word today. Statistically, his numbers are solid both years. Even his rookie year, his statistics weren't that bad. Last year, they were above average, way above average. You're talking 32 touchdowns, over 3,000 yards passing, and only like 12 interceptions. Those numbers are not bad by all means. The problem here, and where people get confused, is, what is it going to take for Carr to be considered the elite quarterback, taking that next step? It really has to do with a few things for me. Number one, it has to do with his fourth quarter play. or you could even say his second half play. You can throw third and fourth quarter in there. That needs to improve, and I think you'll see that improve as time goes on with this offense. Second year running it, his second year with some of the great talent that he has, like Cooper and Crabtree, and we touched on the tight ends yesterday. So he has weapons. So with a running game, which is going to be just as good as another wide receiver for this guy, because I've been saying it for the last 2 years, this guy needs a running game. It's a quarterback's best friend, and he has not had it consistently in 2 years. So you give this guy a consistent running game, and right there, those two things are going to change the dynamic of what the real statistic is, and that is his win-loss record, right? He's 3-13, he's 7-9. So as you give this guy a running game, and he starts to develop himself and immerse himself into this offense, and he starts playing better in the third and fourth quarter, which I do believe he'll do hands down, then you're going to see the win-loss thing change. That's what we've been talking about. This is a playoff team. This team has a chance to make a run for the division. And these are the things that I personally believe that's what it's going to take for him to get there. So trust me when I say, Carr is on his way to being elite. Yeah, it's going to take a few things, but he has given us all the signs of being an elite quarterback. A lot of people are mentioning, hey, can he throw for 40 touchdowns? I think that's a crazy question. I think that's a mark that's set too high because everybody's focused on the statistics. I don't care if he throws for 30, 35, 38, or 40. Give me some wins, baby. That's why I'm saying, 10-6, 11-5 is what I'm looking for, not 40 touchdowns. Your thoughts, partner?
Yeah, again, I agree. I think when you take a look at it, like you said, fourth quarter play shouldn't be where it was in the last couple of years. If you take a look at his first year, we didn't have a running game or wide receivers. So again, in the fourth quarter, if we were going to try to win, we were going to have to throw the ball. We were going to have to, be going with our best player, and that was our quarterback at the time. Last year we had a decent running game, but we didn't have a running game that I think at the end of the game could just kind of turn it loose and kind of just lean on guys. Our offensive line vastly improved this year. Just from one guy coming over, it's affected 2 spots on the offensive line. And like we said, if Menelik Watson can step up, what that's going to mean is that we can jump on teams early on. We can establish the run early on. Then kind of, once Carr can get into that play action where he's proven to be extremely, extremely effective when he has a running game. Then what happens is other teams are kind of playing from behind, and we can go into the end part of that game, into the fourth quarter, and now we're not having to throw the ball to win. We're just kind of grinding it out in order to win the game. So, like you said, with an improved defense, that's another factor that you can look at. A quarterback is going to be better if he has more opportunities with the football. Any position, you're going to be better if you've got more opportunities with the football. So if, we're doing a lot of 3 and outs because we don't have the talent around Derek Carr, and the defense is allowing teams to just kind of keep the ball and keep it out of Carr's hands, it's going to make him extremely ineffective. And again, this is a real testament to Derek Carr because, as we said before, he's been doing this with very, very little supporting cast outside of last year, and that new supporting cast was new, right? So it wasn't a supporting cast that he's been playing with for a while. New wide receivers, new tight end. So at this point, you have to say if that defense improves and that defense can get off the field, can get 3 and outs for the opposing team, can get to the passer, can create turnovers, can put Carr in a position where he's at the opponent's 20-yard line and not his own 20-yard line in the fourth quarter. And, again, we can run the ball and we can control the clock. Then I think that it's going to be a lot easier for him to take that next step. I think it's been an uphill climb, but he's proven through character, work ethic, and obviously talent that he's able to do that in adverse conditions. And now as this team is building, what you're looking at is, hey, you were able to do it when it was really, really tough. Now that we're making it easier and you've got more experience, I think the sky is the limit, for Derek Carr. If we just look in terms of production, right? He hasn't been injured. He had the one little thing, last year, the one little thumb injury, but by and large, I mean, he's showing that he can take a hit, that he can get up, that he can lead his team. So all of the intangibles are there, and those are the things that, like I said, we have to look at. What are your thoughts on his intangibles? Things that you can't measure in terms of his 40 time or how far he can throw the ball. But just talk a little bit on his intangibles and how those may put him ahead of some other guys with more talent at the position.
What's really made him successful up until this point is his maturity. That's something you can't teach anybody. It's a choice. You choose to be mature, and he's been mature since day one, and that's what got him the starting job. And as far as that goes, he's a natural born leader. If you look at this kid, I mean, he comes in right away, big smile on his face, giving everybody hugs, telling them that he loves them. These are things that as a society we lost, let alone as football players inside mainstream national media type stuff. I mean, this guy loves everybody. He's open arms to everybody. He's a natural born leader. He's mature. And then you talk about his work ethic. His work ethic alone is something that, once again, is a choice. You choose to have the kind of work ethic he has. I mean, he's constantly striving to get better. He's always in the film room, and he's always trying to make other people around him better. And I think that is the one intangible that nobody gives him enough credit for. And it doesn't have to be on offense. He's always praising and pumping up Khalil Mack. The guy just gets it. He has it all upstairs. And, one thing I want to point out, too, before I kick it back to you, partner, is this. Everybody wants to talk about his fourth quarter shortcomings, his second half shortcomings, but yet statistically, once again, because everybody likes focusing on that, he's only second to Dan Marino in his first 2 years. So could you imagine if this guy was performing in the second half of football games and not struggling so much in the fourth quarter? And we got something special here, and it's just a matter of time before it explodes. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. And then you factor in the fact that he comes from good bloodlines. His brother has been there. He's been on the big stage. He was exposed to it extremely early on. So he understands what the rigors of the NFL, the ups and the downs. His David Carr having, just gotten beat up and just all of the wrong things has sort of paved a path for Derek to be able to kind of fast track and to be able to really avoid a lot of the pitfalls. I think that some of these guys out here that, they whatever background they've come from, they just haven't faced that adversity. Maybe they started out in Pop Warner and they were successful because they were better, faster, stronger, and then they went into junior high school or if that's not available where they went to high school and they dominated in high school. It's sort of the kind of like the men among boys type thing. And then they went to college and again, they were a big fish in a small pond, and then all of a sudden they're in the NFL and they're realizing, hey, wait a minute, everybody here is just as good as I am. I'm not special, right? And that can really weigh on a player. If you're not prepared, that can really, and we're going to talk about that in our third segment with Connor Cook and how he might handle this situation. But this is a very important intangible because, again, if you come into this league and you come in thinking that you're owed the starting position, you're owed the ability to take the team and to lead the team because of where you were drafted, whether it be the first round, or second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, wherever it was you were drafted. Obviously, the lower you are, the less likely you're going to come in with that attitude. But I think a lot of people thought Connor Cook was one of the better quarterbacks in this draft. So he obviously probably felt like he was going to be drafted and go somewhere and start. So Derek kind of coming in, understanding, okay, I was picked in the second round. I think I should have been picked in the first round, but, I'm going to come in, I'm going to learn, I'm going to be supportive. He's just not the kind of guy that's going to give you anything inauthentic. So again, having that background from his brother, learning, what goes on behind the scenes, not getting too high, not getting too low, and just kind of knowing what was coming around the corner, with that coupled with his faith. And like you said, he's the heart and soul of this team, the family, He wants everybody to feel like they're involved, and he's committed to turning this franchise around, which in today's day and age is a huge intangible. Guys are trying to get paid. We're seeing it left and right. Andrew Luck's contract, Von Miller's contract, Khalil Mack potentially what he's going to get, and Derek Carr potentially what he's going to get. So again, I think from the intangible position, this guy buys in. This guy believes, and he's doing everything he can to make this team the best, the absolute best that it can possibly be. So I feel really good. Like I said, if this is anybody else, if this is any of the other quarterbacks we've had, the last 10 years, almost 4,000 yards, over 30 touchdowns, and under 20 interceptions with an over 90% quarterback rating, I think we'd be ecstatic. We'd be totally ecstatic. But for whatever reason, excuse me, because it's Derek Carr, unfortunately, we look at that as being, decent numbers.
Yep, and let's also keep in mind that at the end of the day, he's doing all this with the pressures of rebuilding a team from the ground up that's been suffering for the last 13 years. Yep. All right, guys, we're going to take a break, and once we return, we're going to get into the second position, the number 2 quarterback, and we're going to see where that's going to be leading. There's going to be some really good competition in that position, and we're going to touch on it when we come back. Stay tuned.
Carpets is celebrating the holidays with a huge inventory clearance sale. We have the best prices and guaranteed installation. Why would you buy anywhere else? Whether you're looking for laminate, vinyl, carpet, tile, or wood, we have it all. Save up to 50% on selected items. Room-size rugs, only $69. Visit Carpets at one of our 6 Bay Area locations or call us at 1-800-355-4MMM.
All right, welcome back, guys. We're going to jump right into this. Scott Bair's second question was, who's going to win that backup spot for Derek Carr, right? And right off the bat, we got Matt McGlion sitting right there. He's the veteran. He's been in the system for 2 years, just like Derek Carr, but he's been on the team for 3. He's got more experience than Connor Cook does. And we saw flashes of what McGlion has as far as arm strength, his intangibles, his will to win, if you will. But I just feel that Matt McGlion just lacks that it factor, that total swagger. It kind of goes from him having swag for him pressing too hard. Like when he gets in there, he tries way too hard to be the man instead of just doing his job. And that's just a personal opinion. And I know a lot of people are probably not going to agree with me on that because I know there's still a lot of Matt McGlion supporters. But just take a look at the tape, guys. I mean, this guy comes in and he just presses way too hard. He throws too many interceptions. If he was just to come in, be relaxed, and run the system, his numbers probably wouldn't be so bad. I mean, when you're a backup quarterback and you're striving to be a starting quarterback, whether it's for the team that you're playing with or being recognized around the league, you got to come in and make something happen. I mean, you got to take advantage of the fact that the ball is in your hand. This is your opportunity. The spotlight is on you. You're the quarterback right now of this football team. I don't care if it's for one drive, one quarter, a whole half. Take advantage of what is given to you. In the NFL, that stands for not for long. You have to be able to step up to the plate, throw strikes when needed, but also know, hey, when should I tuck and run? When should I check down? Derek Carr even gets a lot of slack, and flack for checking down maybe sometimes too much. But sometimes protecting the ball is the right decision and protecting your body. So if Matt McGlion gets an opportunity, whether it's in the preseason or if he's on this roster moving forward, he wants to make a name for himself, not just for the Raiders, but he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. He's going to have to take advantage of every opportunity where the ball is in his hands. Partner, your thoughts?
Well, there's just a couple. I mean, we're talking about the backup job at this point, so I don't want to get too far into other areas because this is going to affect, like we talked about, do you carry 6 receivers? Do you carry 3 quarterbacks? Connor Cook is not going to pass the waiver wire. So this presents a bit of a problem for Matt McGlion. And I think Matt McGlion, unfortunately, is just that guy that you're always trying to, in this league, you're always trying to replace, right? He does a great job, but you're always trying to replace him. He comes in, he does the things that you're asking him to do. And he just doesn't, like you said, he just doesn't have it. He's got the moxie. He's got, he goes out there and he makes some great plays. And it seems like the offense takes off as soon as he gets out there. But when you look at longevity, when you look at him being able to sustain that type of success, oftentimes we just don't see it. And we've talked about this again before. When you get that opportunity, 4, 5, 6 games, you got to take advantage of it. You got to get out there and you got to say, this is my football team. Derek Carr did it during the preseason. And a lot of people will say that that's not, indicative of what would happen during the regular season. But Derek Carr obviously did it during the preseason. Seth Roberts did it, and then you've got people that have had the opportunity and they just never did it. They couldn't do it for whatever reason. So McGlion had the opportunity. He went out and looked okay. And then at other points, just looked, subpar to say the least. So that presents a problem. If Connor Cook is not going to get past the waiver wire, well, then we have to be talking about them carrying 3 quarterbacks to even have Matt McGlion in the conversation. And right now, I think that Connor Cook is still too young. He's still too raw. This could present a problem. Who would I want backing up Derek Carr? Obviously, Matt McGlion. He's got the experience. He knows the offense, and he can produce in spurts. And that's what we're looking at for the backup position. But if you're looking at, Derek Carr goes down week 3, who would I potentially want to be in there? I think probably Connor Cook. He's much more. He's when you look at the comparisons, I would say he's most like Derek Carr of the 2 quarterbacks. He understands defenses. He reads defenses well. He knows how to move the line. He's got mobility. He can run. He can make all the throws. So when you kind of look at, there's a reason why he was potentially a first-round quarterback and Matt McGlion was a free agent, right? And it didn't just have to do with the Penn State situation. It had to do with, hey, when we look at this guy, what is it that we have? So again, I know that there's a lot of people that love Matt McGlion, but at the end of the day, I think there's some extenuating factors here that we have to look at. And like I said, if we're looking for long-term, Matt McGloin's a free agent coming up here. B, if we're looking at who best fits the offense, and we're talking long-term, we're not talking, this year for 2 games or for, 2 quarters or whatever it is. Obviously, it would be Connor Cook. Whatever the situation, we're in a really good position. We can use Cook to leverage if we're trying to work something out with Matt McGlion to keep him sort of long-term and kind of keep kicking this can down the road. Or if Matt McGlion says, hey, I want an opportunity, I think I've proven it, we can basically say, okay, well, we've got a guy who's been in our system now for an entire year that we feel really comfortable with. And, could take over kind of in a pinch. And then you start dealing with that problem. Is there a controversy, sort of XYZ? So I think it's a good problem to have. But in my opinion, obviously I would want Matt McGlion to be the backup, and I would want Connor Cook to be the emergency quarterback, as long as we didn't try to get him on the practice squad and to go through waivers.
Yeah, in fact, we can't push Connor Cook there. And let's take a look a little closer at Connor Cook, right? I mean, what does Connor Cook bring to the table? Well, it's kind of simple, right? I mean, this guy is a Penn State star that came with a lot of negativity as far as his leadership skills. But I think sometimes that's overhyped. I mean, I think this is a humbling experience for the kid, and I think he's going to come in and he's going to take it on full head on steam, just like, you know what, let's do this. I'm going to take this opportunity and make the best of it. And that's why we drafted him in the 4th round, because we want that motivation for him. He knows he's not going to be a starter. And when he's going up against Matt McGlion knows he's in a contract year. So Matt McGlion's not saying, I'm going to be a franchise backup quarterback. He wants to be a quarterback. Who doesn't? If he has the right competitive blood, he's going to want to make his name somewhere else. So he's going to have to fight this preseason, and I think that's the Raiders' plan. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they're going to give Matt McGlion every opportunity this preseason in these games to go out there and showcase his talent, and maybe they try to dump him. If they cannot dump the kid, then they're going to keep him as the backup. We'll carry 3 quarterbacks, which unfortunately will limit us somewhere else. But as we get in later this week talking about certain personnels on defense, I think we have room to do that this year. So, Connor Cook is not going to be a practice squad guy. We're not going to push it because even if he passes waivers, as long as they put him on an active roster, anybody could pluck him. So I guarantee you Connor Cook's going to be on this roster this year. They're going to either make him the backup of the future, trade bait, obviously. They're going to be creating a revolving door for quarterbacks, and Connor Cook's a part of that mix. Matt McGloin's a part of that mix. Derek Carr has shown us no signs of being knocked out by these guys. They believe in the guy. The team believes in Derek Carr, and that's something you can't teach as well. I mean, Carr has his team. He's the leader. So when it comes to McGloin and when it comes to Connor Cook, that's where the real battle is. So maybe we run 3, maybe we just run 2, but if we go down to 2, it's going to be Connor Cook. So it's going to be interesting moving forward. Partner, your thoughts on Connor Cook in general?
Well, like I said, I think that just like with McGloin, I don't think that he thought he was going to get drafted and become a career backup either. So it becomes a situation that we kind of have to look at. Does he have the perseverance to sit back and wait for his opportunity to come? That's a hard thing to do when you believe that you have the talent, if you're cocky and you believe in your skill. So it's very much like we said, does he handle it like Derek Carr did? Come in, be gracious, do the things you have to do, learn from the people in front of you. And then when the opportunity comes, because it always comes, if you're resilient, it always comes. Ask Rich Gannon. He bounced around for years and years and years and years, and eventually the opportunity came and he was able to take advantage of it. Some guys come in like Derek Carr and they play from day one. Other guys come in and they don't play like Aaron Rodgers for a couple of years because they have to sit behind somebody else. But, again, because Derek Carr is so young, that could present some problems sort of down the road that I don't think that you would have if he was coming in to replace a Drew Brees or even a Tony Romo, even though reports came out today that Romo wants to play until he's 46. He wants to play another 10 years. So maybe drafting Connor Cook would have been a problem. But again, at the end of the day, that's going to be the intangible that we're looking at. If the guy indeed does have leadership issues, this could help build his character. If he doesn't, he comes in and he's a team player and he buys in and he learns and he develops his craft. And, again, God forbid somewhere down the road something happens. We've got a guy that we could plug in because, again, sometimes we talk season-ending injuries. Sometimes we talk career injuries, right? Where a guy, for whatever reason, something happens and he can never play again. So we're in a good position. I think this is it's a great article. We're going to link it in the comments below. Also, again, we want everybody to follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, and on all of our social media applications. Why don't you go ahead and give out those the ways that people can follow us, and let's wrap it up.
All right, guys. So yes, you guys could obviously follow us on Facebook at The Will to Win. You also follow us at Twitter on The Will to Win, and Instagram at The Will to Win. You could always email us any questions or thoughts at thew2w@gmail.com. That is thew2w@gmail.com. Remember everyone, this is a review show. We take articles and review it, and we add our opinions to it. So take everything you hear for what it's worth. Listen to it closely. These are our opinions, and just remember that 2016 is the return of the Raiders. And we will see you guys tomorrow, and you guys have a great day, and stay Raider strong. See you later, Raider Nation.
See you tomorrow, Raider Nation.